with action. We all have these massive goals. I mean, you're doing some amazing things in your career, and you have done, and you're continuing to. More things coming out. There is another movie coming out June 26th that I do want to touch on.
That's a AAA video game. Yeah, so
yeah, that's
Kojima,
right. PlayStation, right?
Yeah, Hideo Kojima's next game, Death Stranding 2. So I'll be playing Pierre Southern in that, alongside like Norman Reedus and Elle Fanning. It's a great cast, man. Yeah, I feel very blessed. And Hideo Kojima is like one of the godfathers of video games. You know, this is a guy who, I don't know if you ever played Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, like that's him. He's like he's the stealth king. So I'm very excited to be in that project.
And that's the thing, right? That's like the mountain, right? You see, that's the goal, that's the job, but there's all these different micro movements in between where you're taking action every day. Because even if you don't do that, then you don't have the on-screen, right? You don't have the stand-up. Can you touch on your process a little bit? Because there's people out there right now that want to hit their goal. They want to make sure that, hey, I want to be at the top of my game, but they're so focused on this that they're forgetting the stages, right?
Sure, working my way up. Look, I'm 40 years of age. Let's lay it out. I'm 40. I look all right. You know what I mean? I'm not too out of shape. I'm not too bad at the moment.
Great, man.
You're very sweet. I wasn't fishing. What I mean is like, I've got time. Like I'm not in a rush. I was, when I was a younger man, I was most definitely in a rush. Do you know what I mean? Like most people in this industry, unless you have nepotism on your side, so you're a child of a famous performer already, or your dad's the owner of the business that you want to thrive and get to the C-level suite on. You know, you have to work your way up the ladder, and I've done that. I've made the coffees, I've done the photocopies, I've done all of that stuff to work my way up the industry, which is important. I think it makes you a better, more grateful success story when you get to your place of success. I'm also, where I'm at now, I appreciate you lauding my various projects and successes I've already had.
Yeah.
But there's another height, another level of things I want to achieve, and creators I want to create with, artists I want to work with, roles I want to portray, scripts I want to write. What I've learned more than anything is I spent a good few years, maybe a full decade, existing within that cynicism of, I've got so many opportunities that I've lost out on or have been passed over on, or some BS has got in the way of me achieving that thing or getting that thing, or I've even recorded the job and then something else has gone wrong and they lost funding, or another actor, they fell out with someone else and the project fell apart, whatever it is, where that should have been my big moment to really succeed.
The should have, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, when I was 26, I booked a massive Hollywood role with a bunch of, like, the cast was insane. It would have been, by sure, even today's standard, it would be the biggest project I'd ever done. It would have launched me, big red carpets, all that. And I got jacked. I had a personal trainer for a few months. I spent a bunch of money. I got told what I was being paid, which wasn't a huge fee, but for me, it was huge at that time, 26. I'm sure compared to the other stars, they were all getting multi-millions and I was getting hundreds of thousands, but I was like, wow, this is huge. And I spent a load of money on a trainer. I spent a load of money on a suit for the red carpet. I did all these things. I was so excited. And then a month before principal photography, they lost one of their major funding sources. It got moved to another picture. And I didn't know this was my first big movie. So I was so unbelievably depressed. It got delayed 6 months, then a year, then it never happened. It's still on IMDb in development 20 years later, right? Or 15 years later. That really crushed me. But what I realize now is I was so focused on the finishing of a project, what that goal is going to do for me, what that will do for my career. Will that push me to the next place? Is that going to build my brand? Is that going to get me a bigger audience? I was so focused on that rather than being focused on creating something good and just enjoying the process. That's my biggest piece of advice for anyone who's listening, whether you are starting up a brand new business, it doesn't have to be in entertainment, whether you are trying to get that raise or that ascension to the next role in your business, enjoy the present moment and doing what you're doing now. And it will lead to more opportunities. It just will. Yeah. Because people will recognize you at work. Wow, have you seen how hard he's working at the moment? Let's get him, let's talk about a raise. Oh, wow, have you seen this guy? He's excelling, he's thriving. Wow, let's get him in. Have you seen what she's been doing on set? Wow, she's working so hard. Maybe we'll get on the next project. It will lead to more opportunities. But also, if you're focused on enjoying the process of creating a thing or doing the thing, then you don't stress about what happens at the end of it? I'm producing a movie right now, right? I wrote a script, it's an adaptation from a novel. It's going to be a short film that's coming out at the end of the year. It's based on a franchise that I'm deeply passionate about, not involved in. It's not official. It's basically a fan film that I'm making.
Okay.
And it's going to cost me quite a lot of money. We're talking like over $100,000 of my own cash for this short film. I brought together loads of people who can do it on a cheap budget, but at a high level. I'm not worried about the success of this thing. I have goals for it, for sure. But even if the success of it is, I just made the best piece of art I've made, that for me is that's what I'm enjoying.
That's the reward. See,
I'm enjoying having these production meetings with people who are top tier artists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I really know some talented people. And by doing that, you remove all the stress. You're never looking desperately to the future or lamenting the past, which I think a lot of people exist in that state, including myself for most of my life.
Hell yeah, man.
Instead, now I'm just like, today I'm doing something really fun.
Yeah.
I've just written a script with a great author of an amazing novel that I respect.
That's
and we
so cool,
wrote an adaptation. Isn't that cool? You know, like things like that. So enjoy the process.
You know, that's the thing, right? Because a lot of people are listening right now, like, how am I enjoying this? What they have to understand is that pain is required, right? That's the cover charge.
Sure.
Right? So you go through some pain, you go through different
how can you have
stages.
positives unless you already know the litmus test of what a negative feels like?
And how are you going to enjoy when you hit that finish line or that perceived finish line, right? Because like you said a bit ago, you know, you're here now, but then once you hit there, you look at, okay, always grateful, never satisfied. What's the next level? You're always moving, right? You're always shooting for that next thing, that next development.
But my next development now is creating better work with better people and working even harder on those projects.
Yeah.
It's never how many Instagram followers I got. How do I get to over 1 million on TikTok? What am I, who am I working with the right director? How famous am I? It's none of that shit.
Yeah.
It's, excuse my language. It's like,
You let it fly, man.
It's now, you don't want to say that to me. I'm a East End Cockney. It'll be every other word. I've had to train myself, darling, to speak a little bit more beautifully. But, you know, it's never about those things anymore. It's just like, I just create something great. Let me go create something even greater.